This week's question comes from a parishioner, and it regards our abandonment to the will of God. And if I understand the parishioner's question correctly, is acting somehow not having faith in the will of God. If God is going to do everything, then why would I do anything? Father Dave doesn't remember this now, but I remember a homily he gave. He was filling in for my pastor about 20 years ago. And the theme of his homily was that every event of the world comes at the confluence of providence or God's will and human action. So we are not Calvinists. Calvin taught that everything has been determined by God and there's really no meaning to human action, because God's will is going to be done in the end of all time, no matter what we do. And if that were true, then obviously we're all working too hard because we might as well just stay in bed all day and let God do everything. But it's also true that God created humanity with an active role in creation. So when he created the world, he didn't just tell Adam and Eve, well, here, I'll set up a couple of chaise lounges and you guys can pour a cold drink and just sit back and relax because you don't really have to do anything. No, God's intention from the very beginning was that we would play an active role in the world. But at the same time, there is no meaningful human action that is completely apart from or outside the will of God. So the proper response of a disciple is to discern God's will, to discern God's desire for one's life, to determine what is that work, what is that activity, what are those relationships, Lord, that you are calling me to, and then to set about each day to engage in that work and activity and relationships that we have discerned to be God's will for our lives. And so there's that confluence of divine will and human action in our daily lives that leads to our sanctification, ultimately leads us to becoming, everybody know the answer to this? To becoming saints. Don't ever forget that. Every day, God is leading you down the path to sainthood. So, with all of this in mind, remember that God is who he says he is, you are who he says you are, live the life that he created you to live.